to be done by the end of the day today or by the time we get to the next class. So this is a presentation. Last year, basically what I did previously is everyone got a fictitious name so they could record them and put them on the website, because I had more than one class and everybody was responsible for also watching the ones in the other classes. So when I put them on the website, I wanted a fictitious name. So Fred Smith presented this one from Acer Motherboards and came and talked first about Acer as a company, gave us a little bit of background on Acer. Don't put words on here that you can't pronounce, and if you can't pronounce them, don't try to pronounce them. Either practice them ahead of time or don't say the word. Okay? That's true on all PowerPoint presentations. A lot of times people get up here and all of a sudden they've cut and pasted stuff, which you shouldn't do without reading, and they'll turn around and they'll start reading us word for word what's on their slide. You should never read us word for word what's on your slide. What is the purpose of the slide, or conversely, what's the purpose of you if you're just going to read it to us? Because we'll accept the fact that all of us have enough of an education at this point to read, right? So don't read it to us. The slide, whenever you give a presentation, is to supplement or back up what you're talking about, okay? Or to give additional information that maybe isn't completely important to your conversation, but they asked for it anyway, right? So as a little background, hey, we're Acer's headquartered in Taipei, Taiwan. We make a lot of different products, although today we're here to talk about the motherboard. Okay? So I basically said the stuff that's here, but I just paraphrase things. Hey, we're in Taiwan, we make a lot of stuff, but we're here to present about the motherboard, and maybe you say we've been around since 1987. Okay? But don't read us slides. Don't turn around and look at them. Okay? Here's our location of our company, both our company and there's our company headquarters right there if you're interested in seeing what it looked like. Here's our production and revenue for Acer and how we've done over the years, and you can see the years and the quarters down here. These are the revenues for each quarter in those years. So you can see that we've been around for a while. And of our percentage of manufacture, you can see that our biggest income is from notebooks. Motherboards take up a minor part of our income. Maybe you don't want to say that since you're selling us a motherboard. Okay, I'm here to present 3 different topics that you guys asked me to come. These 3, and we're going to start out today with the home PC motherboard that you asked for. The things that you specifically asked me to get for you is that everything had to be integrated, and you want the least expensive option we had here at Acer for you. So in order to present that one, I brought the Acer Aspire SA90 motherboard today, and we're going to go over some of the specifications of this motherboard. Okay, here's me and you. Bad choice of graphic. Okay, don't give me a graphic with a image of another company on top of it. I guarantee you, if this person had gone to Acer and Googled the SA90, they could have gone right to the Acer site and got a perfectly good picture. Okay, image-wise, this isn't terrible, but why would you get one with a stamp on top of it? Okay, although I don't dislike the graphic, and the person was lazy and used the same graphic on all of them. Okay, but then they broke it down like I said I'd like you to do, because by breaking it down into each topic, now when they go to the next presentation, they can grab this one on this one slide and use it in their CPU presentation, because it already says the type of socket and the kind of processors that go into it, because you guys are going to introduce, in the next one you're going to introduce the motherboard just here. Hey, this is for the SA90 motherboard. These are the sockets that it takes, and in particular the CPU we're using is the Pentium 4 with an LGA 775 socket to show that it goes with your motherboard. And then you'll go through the other things. When you do your memory presentation, you're going to take this slide and use it in memory, because you're going to sell us a piece of memory, so it's good for you to be able to say, hey, it takes DDR2, 667 megahertz, 533, obviously this is an old one, 533 megahertz or 400 megahertz. It takes up to 2 DIMMs. And my 2 DIMM slots are not, oh, right there. I was going to say, I can almost not even see them. This is not a good graphic for this, and it takes a max of 4 megabytes. So this is a good example of, can just grab this one slide and use it in the follow-on presentation. If you look, and I don't know if you guys have looked at the rubric yet, but if you look at the rubric, one of the things you have to touch upon is the front side bus, which is the speed that the information goes to the motherboard. Around the motherboard, there is no separate presentation on this. so it belongs on its own slide anyways, because you're not going to use it. So we can talk about now about the speed of the front side bus, and that's the speed that the system clock pulses at to sync up the information as it moves around the motherboard. Integrated components, I said we want it all integrated, so you need to hit those things. Again, this is not a separate presentation, but that's why we're kind of breaking it down. I would have, if this was my presentation, I would have gotten a good picture of just the back here, because you're sitting here talking about these things, but they're all the way down on the bottom and I can barely see. So, A, the graphic wasn't a great choice. B, find more than one that hits upon what you want, or crop it. Like when we talked about CPU, why don't we just have the CPU socket cropped out? I don't need to see the whole motherboard, right? So talked about the different integrated components on there, talked about the different expansion slots are down here, and I will be asking you which one is the PCI 1 X1 slot, and you should be able to go, oh, the PCI X1 is this little tiny one right here, and then this is the PCI 16, and these are the standard PCI slots. You should be able to identify those parts on your own motherboard when you're giving the presentation. Back panel stuff is right there, and then you should have, okay, I didn't see anything on hard drives. Ports, did you guys see hard drive ports? Did not. Oh, okay, so he's just got one IDE channel. These things don't belong together. So here's our integrated components. That's not part of our integrated components. What are the three integrated components that we talked about? Audio, sound, network. Okay, I said three, but there's four, obviously. So I got my audio, my video, my network. That's it. Those are the three. Okay. So for some reason, this is on here. That doesn't belong on this slide because that's, yes, it's part of the motherboard, but that's not the integrated components that we're talking about in the rubric. Okay. So I would have had just those things on a slide for the integrated components, and there should be a separate slide talking about, because you're going to need that one when we go to hard drives. What kind of hard drive connections does it have? It says IDE 1 ATA. It's not ATA. It is wrong. It's a PATA. Okay. There's one PATA, and then how many SATA ports? There's two SATA 2s, and they do RAID 0 and 1. And again, that right there is a separate slide. Because when we do the hard drive presentation, which is 3 chapters ahead, you're going to want to be able to grab that, and this person didn't do that. Okay. And then the last thing is, you have to have a cost, and the cost has to be a link that you can click on and take us directly to wherever you found it to back up the fact that that cost is accurate. Okay, and this one's obviously old enough, it's not there anymore. Which brings us to the last thing. When you do go to this slide and get your costs, take a screen capture, because if the cost changes, we'll see if this person did it on the bottom of theirs. If the cost changes, you should have a slide at the bottom, and they don't. A slide at the bottom that shows where you got that cost from. So that if you go ahead and go to it and it goes to Newegg and now the price is $100 more, and it could very well be, on your high-end motherboard you could go one time and it's $99 and the next time it's $199. You can use the $99 price if you took a picture of the screen. Does everybody know how to do that? Okay, and save it on the bottom of your PowerPoint. It's not a slide you're ever going to go to unless you have to. So if during your presentation you say, hey, this one was $99, you click on it, it's $199, you can say, oh, that's the online price, not the price we have for you. I'll show you that page at the end of the presentation. Okay, kind of do a little dance there. And then at the end of the presentation, you can go in and say, hey, here's the price that we got for you guys, and it's down here at the bottom. I would do that for anything in any class that's volatile or that could change. Okay, so anytime you're doing something that you're grabbing a website, you're grabbing a picture, you're grabbing anything that changes throughout time, I would always take a screenshot of it and just throw it on your presentation at the bottom, so that if it comes up that it does change, you can show that that was actually a real thing, not some made up thing. Okay, so that's what I expect you guys to have for next class. Okay, maybe not all the background there, but we should at least have all the home PC stuff, so that I give you feedback on that, so that when we proceed on with the rest of the project with the business and the gamer, when you don't go, I didn't understand that we had to have that slide on there. That's the point of this mini presentation on Friday. And Ian will be giving all your presentations since you guys won't be there. So they have to be good enough for Ian to read. Any questions? I'm going to let you have the rest of the class to work on this. Okay.
Like,
I just said no questions now. I said questions. You didn't ask. What?
on